What's up, everyone? It's TechTrooper64, and today we're going to talk about how I think the Switch is going to be. I made a video before this, I made a recording before this, and I wasn't really happy with how it turned out because it more became a recap of the presentation than it was my own opinion. And I wanted to change that. So I just read through what the entire transcript of what the presentation was. I'll leave a link in the description below, courtesy from Nintendo Everything for providing this transcript of what happened during the presentation. If you don't want to watch it yourself, that's fine. This transcript's here. You can read it, what happened. Anyway, so I want to talk about what I think about the Switch, what I think Nintendo did right, and what they did wrong. Quite frankly, a lot of people are already calling this the worst presentation of all time. I don't think it's fair to say that. I think it was a good presentation. I think they focused on too many things that didn't matter. For example, 1-2 Switch and ARMS. Both games look good. Don't get me wrong. 1-2 Switch, I'm not even going to bother. I'm going to wait until reviews come out for that one because, quite frankly, it looks like too weird of a game for my own taste. And trust me, I don't mind trying out new games, but that game looked like way too much for me. It just looked like it was borderline picnic activities and doing active stuff in the real world, less of a video game and more stuff in the real world. And quite frankly, I'm not a big fan of that. So I'm not a huge deal for that. That's not going to sell me on it. The only thing that's going to sell me on it at this point is essentially, if reviews are good. Next, ARMS. I've made my opinion clear about ARMS before. I actually pre-ordered ARMS because I'm excited for it. It looks like a good game. It looks like it has the potential to become like another Splatoon. I think Nintendo is also hoping that it'll become another Splatoon. I think if Nintendo advertises more about the characters themselves in the game and what they're doing in the game and why they're boxing or what they're doing and put more character in each of the characters, like Overwatch, I think it could be a great success. ARMS look very, very promising and interesting. But I think they focused on it way too much. Those two things were that screamed out casual. That screamed out Wii. That looked like the ghost of the Wii haunting the Switch. We don't want that, Nintendo. I think that was a huge mistake with, showing that off so much, doing that so much, and I think that's what brought down people, and that's what made people hate the presentation as a whole, because you focused so much on those stupid things and it didn't work out very well. Quite frankly, it wasn't a good idea. I think you could have announced them and said what they're about, but you shouldn't have spent so much time on them. I know that ARMS, you guys spent a good considerable time, and that's kind of what sold me, but at the same time, people always look at gameplay online. People don't need to be handheld to go and see stuff now. Anyway, let's continue. I think it was a good idea, smart idea that they priced it at $300 in the US. In Canada, it's priced at $400, but that's okay because PS4 and Xbox is priced at $400, so it's okay. It's coming out on March 3rd. I think that's a good date. Kind of earlier than I expected, but whatever. $300, like I said, is a good price. The fact that they're making the Switch work with your mobile phone is a very, very good strategy. Microsoft did that with the Xbox One, and I think that's one feature that really sold it on people. That's a feature that really sold me on it, that made me buy an iPad, actually, because, I thought, hey, Xbox One's using it, I better have a big screen to interface with the Xbox One. So I think that's a really cool idea. I hope they shed some more light on that, and I hope that's available at launch. Kudos for Nintendo for doing region locking. Now, the whole thing about paid to play online, I think that's okay. It's going to be free at launch, and it won't be paid for until fall. And I think that's a good, considerable amount of time for people to see if they like the pay to play online or not. Nintendo said that you're going to get benefits if you pay to play. You'll get promotions or free games sometimes, and that's awesome. If that happens, good job. I think it'll be a good success. Now, it really depends. I think it'll be a great success if they exceed or if they match what Xbox Live and PlayStation Plus is doing. If they, offer free games or if they offer promotions on games. And if they offer more than that, then I think that'll woo people to come and pay for Nintendo's online service. The battery life could be better, but then again, this is a handheld console trying to perform Wii U level games on the go. That's going to be hard. So the battery life is fine to me. I'm glad that it's very flexible, that it can go from 2.5 hours to 6 hours depending on the game. That's awesome. Very smart idea to use USB-C and not proprietary crap like they always do. I think that was really cool. The Joy-Con controllers, there was new color variations. They look very, very nice. I like them a lot. I think that was a very smart move to introduce those color variations because it's later revealed in the presentation that there's going to be 2 bundles available. It's going to be the same bundle essentially, but it'll come with the Switch, it'll come with the Joy-Con left and the Joy-Con right, but there's going to be 2 variations. There's going to be an all gray system and a color system. And the color system is going to have a red and blue Joy-Con, while the gray system is going to have an all gray, both Joy-Cons will be gray system, which isn't too bad, but, you know, what can I say? Next, they talked about Splatoon 2. I'm so glad that they brought Splatoon back and that they're going to bring it in a sequel. It's coming out summer 2017. I'm so hyped for it. Super Mario Odyssey looked awesome. It very much wooed people into the Switch. I like it a lot. Good job. They showed it off very well. Xenoblade 2. I feel like there was a lot of people in Japan who liked Xenoblade Chronicles X, and so did I, and I know it sold well in America and Japan. They didn't give out real numbers, but they did say it sold well, and I believe them, because I know I couldn't find it for a bit on store shelves. But anyway, it looks great. All of this looks great. They talked about how Square Enix is really being a huge supporter of the Nintendo Switch. The same team who made the Bravely Default games is making a new game called Project Octopath Traveler. I hope to God that's not the official final name. But anyway, Skyrim is coming to Switch. Good job. Sega is developing for Switch. They don't know what yet, but they are. Suda51 announced that Travis Touchdown from No More Heroes is coming back. Great. We love that game. That's awesome. EA came on stage and said FIFA's coming. Goody. FIFA sells well usually, so that's always a good move. And then finally, at the end, they revealed that Minecraft and Mario Kart 8 is coming to Nintendo Switch. So this is really awesome to me. I'm so glad that this was a good lineup of games. However, Mario Kart 8 is not coming at launch. Minecraft, I'm pretty sure it's not coming at launch. FIFA's not coming at launch. Skyrim's not coming at launch. These huge games that people are waiting for are not coming at launch. The only game that's coming at launch is Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which I've heard some people say that, yes, that is enough to hold the Switch up at launch. I think that's a good enough reason for people to buy it at launch. You know, hey, the new Zelda's coming, buy it on Switch. It runs better on Switch anyway. You know, maybe that's true, and that's great. They showed off a Breath of the Wild trailer at the end, which confirmed that it's coming out on March 3rd, so it's coming out at the same time as the Nintendo Switch. Always a good move. Good job on Nintendo for that. And then finally, they talked about what comes inside the box. You get 2 Joy-Cons, 2 Joy-Con wrist straps, an HDMI cable, AC adapter, a grip controller, which I should mention does not charge the Joy-Cons, but is just to hold your Joy-Cons like a traditional controller. It doesn't come with a Pro Controller, but that's fine. I think it's normal for not coming up for a Pro Controller. But anyway. So, overall, I think the presentation was good. I don't know if I would consider it a failure. It wasn't a failure. But I think they focused way too much on things that people didn't care about. If we're talking about the presentation itself, if we're talking about launch games and all that, I have a bone to pick with that. Because I don't think they announced enough games at launch. Because launch is supposed to be a time where you convince people to buy this thing. You can't just tell people, don't buy this thing, but buy it at the same time. You know, you don't do that. You got to make a good lineup of games. You got to have a good lineup of games to tell people why they should buy your games. So that's just me, but I think they should improve the launch lineup. I know people are worried about the launch lineup that they showed off, because there's only 5 launch titles right now. But I have a feeling that in February, March, they'll announce some more. So, actually, March doesn't count. So, I think for all of you guys, and I'm going to mark it, on February 20th, if there's not more than 10 launch titles for the Nintendo Switch, you have the full right to call the Switch a failure at launch, if it does become a failure. But I think personally, this is just my opinion, but on I'm giving the deadline February 20th, people will announce games for Switch. I think from here on out, we're going to hear nothing but game announcements from developers and publishers. And I hope all of them are for Switch. Anyway, guys, be sure to rate, comment, favorite, and subscribe. And let me know in the comments down below what you think about my opinion about the Nintendo Switch. I pre-ordered mine. I'm going to pre-order a second one, actually, because I like the colored version and I want the gray versions as well. So, yeah. Anyway, let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.